This episode is sponsored by Prolux pergolas. Spring. That magical time of the year where the sun comes out. Everyone gets excited and then it rains 10 minutes later. Typical. With a Prolux pergola, you can actually enjoy your garden without playing weather roulette. Sun blazing, you're covered. Drizzle, still covered. That weird sideways rain that we get in the UK? Yeah, we're covered. So this spring, instead of watching your garden through the window like it's a nature documentary, get out there and use it. Check out Prolux windows and doors and see how a Prolux pergola can turn your garden into your new favourite room. Visit prolux-systems.co.uk for more. Prolux pergolas, because British weather can't be trusted.
What's the worst that can happen?
Today on What's the Worst That Could Happen, I'm sitting down with someone who's not just my boss, but a mate, a mentor, and genuinely one of the best people I know. Kieran Shepherd, owner of Prolux Windows and Doors and Shepherd Contracting. I still remember seeing Kieran back in the day working out of a tiny little shed in Penryn. No flash setup, no big team, just grit, long days, and a bloke that believed in what he was building. Fast forward to now, and what he's created is seriously impressive. Not just the businesses, but the culture, the standards, and the way he treats people along the way. This pod isn't just about success. It's about backing yourself, taking risks, getting uncomfortable, and finding out that sometimes the worst that could happen actually turns out pretty bloody good. Kieran, welcome to your own podcast studio, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for joining us, Kieran. So, should we ask, first of all, what's the worst thing that's ever happened on a site that you can laugh about now? You've got over
What's
it a
the
bit.
worst thing that's happened? Like one thing. You want one thing.
Yeah, the worst.
Yeah, I know there's many, but
Build related, we cut in some ground. So basically put in some levels, and there was nothing in the scope or plans or anything about a natural spring. And we were in mid-January in a valley, and the natural spring decided to spring up, and it washed away 6 months of work and cost me about £100,000.
oh shit.
So that's the worst work thing that's ever happened. That was a hard.
Can you laugh about it now, or?
No, it still hurts.
Yeah, that's hard.
It's not really a mantra, but I will say to myself, you pay for education, and I paid for that one. But I'm still really struggling to work out what I'm learning from that, really. Yeah. So that was a work one that was difficult to swallow and pick yourself up, carry on.
Christ, yeah, that sounds horrendous.
Yeah, I'd say that was probably the worst sort of work business type thing on
Crisis.
site. But there's all different types.
Yeah, nothing really goes to plan, does it?
Never. No. It's how to, when people say, what do you do? I say, I fight fires. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do most days.
Yeah.
Every day, every week, there's something that's not going to plan.
Even with thorough preparation, planning and awareness all the way throughout a project, do you think there's ever a way to sort of mitigate all these things that come up where you're like, oh, okay, right, we've got another thing, let's work that out now?
Yeah, I think you certainly learn from experience. I've been doing this a long time. I got into business when I was quite young. You'd certainly make more mistakes when you start out. You've got to learn from them. You've got to have that memory bank of things that do go wrong and try and learn from it. But you're right, you need to be proactive and learn to be reactive. But if you're proactive and you plan and you give yourself as much opportunity for it to all go right, plan well. I'm not the one of the pair, me and Jonathan, who gives you these fancy quotes. John will come in with a really good quote there and sum it up in one little sentence. But essentially, this is pre-planning, planning well. It obviously helps in moving forward.
Yeah.
But you'll something will always come up. You can cover everything you think that would ever go wrong, and something else will always go wrong. Always. Yeah. But you've got to prepare for that. Yeah. And, in the early days, that used to affect me. It used to be like, oh my God, I failed. It's terrible. My whole world's collapsed. And now I sort of start the week thinking, looking around the corner, where's it going to come from?
Yeah.
Where's that going to happen? So it's not all doom and gloom. You learn to actually laugh about it, accept it, get on with it. And you start to actually get a bit of a buzz for that, to be like, well, how do I fight the fire? How do I get around this?
Quite good as well when you get past that point and you're like, well,
Dealt with this.
Yeah,
I can
I've
deal
dealt
with that.
Yeah. And it makes you stronger, makes you more adaptive, makes you be able to take on more That's if you want to do that. I've always looked at that and gone, it makes me stronger. So I want to push forward, do more, push my boundaries a bit more. And I think for some people, they go, oh, that's enough. Enough's enough. I'll just retreat a little bit and then I'll stick there. But that's not really my personality.
So I remember meeting you actually back in the day, and I remember going down into Penbryn, and you basically worked out of a little shed.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a bit more fancier. Now,
I hoped it was.
You're a visionary.
Yeah.
Was.
Yeah.
But now we're up here, we're in the podcast studio. We've got Prolux next door, obviously. Really nice offices and showroom as well. So did you ever expect that it would go this far, or were you just winging it from a day to day?
Yeah, I suppose it's a mix of both. I think my natural upbringing is a slight bit of winging it. I think you've got to wing it a little bit to sort of not kid yourself, but make yourself believe that it's possible. So you've got to sort of put yourself out there, test yourself a little bit. But no, my vision isn't just this. It's ever changing, ever evolving of where I want to be, where I want my teams to be, where all my businesses and companies to be. I think I'm always pleased of where I've got to. Even my little shed, my old unit, it was a bit rustic and rough around the edges, but actually I used to like spending a lot of time in there. It felt like home for me, probably more so than where we are. I mean, where we are recording this in the podcast studio, this used to be my office, and it didn't feel right. I felt lonely. I felt a little bit detached from things, and I moved down in what we call the bunker or the basement with the team, and I feel like more involved and a little bit more. This was a bit too nice for me. It was a bit too everything's right and a bit ivory tower, and I don't really like that. I don't think I'll ever have that. I want to be with the people, and I think it always seemed a little bit out of my reach to where we are now. And my hopes and dreams of where I want to be seem a little bit out of reach, but I'll pull them in.
When you've achieved those goals historically before and continue to see a growth and reaching for something again that feels out of reach, once you keep up with that momentum, the limit is wherever you want it to be, isn't it?
No, definitely. I think you do get a bit addicted to that. And one of the things that Jonathan, my business partner on the development side, is always trying to remind me to celebrate the wins, even the small ones. Because so often something will go really well, we'll achieve what we wanted to achieve, and then on to the next thing. We don't give ourselves time to look back and go through the hard times. And actually us doing the podcast has really helped us reflect on those things. And you go, we had some hard times, we've had some long times, and we've built up some great relationships. And you sort of start to review that time frame rather than going, oh, brilliant, I've achieved now the next thing. So yes, it makes it easier, not easier, but you're more prepared for the next challenges. It's important to make sure you take the time and reflect and celebrate the wins, because I don't think we do it enough in business anyway. Something I tell more people to do. If you do well, go and celebrate. Treat yourself.
Yeah,
something nice, pat on the back, and also surround yourself with people that will celebrate you, hype you up, give you that confidence and appreciation for what you've done. That's something that a long time I worked on my own, so I got used to not having that anybody being grateful or anybody saying pat yourself on the back, you've done well. That didn't come for a long, long time. It was only then recently, probably in the last couple of years, where I met certain people and the team, like Dave and people around me, that, we celebrate together, don't we? And we have good achievements, and we're like, this is great. I see it in people that they're really pleased with what they've done and we've achieved it as a company and as a team. And that's really good.
Yeah. It's a good culture here.
A culture.
Really good.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's what really appealed to me to join Prolux. It was the culture. It was everyone's knowledge and passion for the business.
Yeah.
And obviously knowing you as well, we get on anyway. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's good to be a part of the team.
Yeah, and all that exceeds my my hopes and dreams of what Prolux as a company would be. I wouldn't say I was responsible for that. I think it is just a culture thing. It is just the right people. And I think maybe myself and my wife Amanda, in that picking the right people and understanding what we want to create and the people we like. Because you pick people first. Well, I certainly do in building teams. You pick the person and the personality and the drive before you do the qualification. I want to meet the people first. But yeah, no, it's good. It's important.
Yeah.
If you were to highlight 3 wins from 2025.
3 wins. It's not been an easy year. We just put this in our podcast. It's not been an easy year, which in many ways sort of makes it a bit easier to pick out the wins. But they probably, to me, they're not shout about wins. But basically, on the construction side, on the contracting side, I mean, we've had a couple of really nice projects, really good clients, really easy to work with. And yourself, you know what that's like when you work with when you work with tricky clients.
Closely,
Yeah. And that's it. And you build up that relationship, and they've just been really, really good. And a bit of luck, but also just that they've, I guess, who we're marketing to and who our ideal clients are wanting in a contractor, that's a good fit. And it seems to be that we've hit a point in that. So that's one good win.
I think that will naturally attract more of that then now as you market
Hopefully.
those properties that you've worked on.
Hopefully will, yeah. Yeah. I think a win, which Prolux, I think, again, coming back to that team, building the team, looking back over these 7 years now, celebrated 7 years in November, just with pride. And I'm just so proud that we've got where we are. And I think it's just a big win. I sort of look at that every year and just look at the team, look at where we are, look at what we produce. That's a massive win for me. And on the development side, we've had a really, really good year. It's been hard. It's been a 2 or 3 slog with me and John. Shout out to Jonathan Stubbs. We've spent the last 2 or 3 years sort of really pushing hard and looking at the right deals or trying to find the right deals. Yeah, we've got like 2 or 3 projects in the pipeline for the 26 that we've got over the line in the last 3 months, refinancing deals and working with landowners and things. So really, really pleased with that. Some hard slogs sort of paid off. Yeah, pleased with that. And that's a business thing, but yeah, just really, really, really proud of my kids as well. I'll throw that in there.
Yeah, nice.
And my wife set up Santa's Cafe.
Christ, make sure you get that in.
Family. I'm really proud of family. No, really proud of my wife. And she took a leap this year and moved from working at a school as a TA, HLTA, into working at basically owning her own cafe, which I believe you've been to. Not sure you've both been to. But
good coffee, good cake.
Yeah.
I'll treat you to one after this.
He always says Kieran said I could have a free coffee. So yeah, really proud of her. She's doing a really good job, and I'm proud of the kids. They work hard at school, put the effort in, and I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but it means a lot. They work really hard, and I'm incredibly proud of them. So
yeah, nice, mate.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's why we all work hard throughout the week to spend time with the family on weekends and evenings. That's why we do it. I love finding out what people's sort of goals are, and why they work hard.
The drivers.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, obviously, I'm quite family driven as well. So I work hard throughout the week to go and have a good weekend with them.
Yeah.
You're
and
too cute.
Yeah.
Both of them are so cute here.
It is lovely to see, because you put a lot with your boys and stuff, and it's lovely to see.
Yeah.
And it is. And do you know what? I won't lie, I've not always been like that. I'm quite a selfish person. And the selfish drive is to succeed and provide. And to me, that's a monetary thing. It's just my upbringing. It's been like, the more I earn, the more I can provide. That's just sort of the way I think of things, right? So it's not always been that. I probably wouldn't have said that 4 or 5 years ago. It wouldn't have been my driver. It would have been, but deep down, I wouldn't have voiced that. It wouldn't have been something that I was sort of open with. It would have been more business focused and selfish reasons. I want more from my life. I want to achieve more. I deserve more because I've done this, this, and this. So it's slightly, as you mature, you slightly tweak. So I admire when people have younger kids, whereas I spent a lot of time working when my ones were very little, as my wife constantly reminds me. And as they've got older and you realise, actually, I've only got a few more years of this. So you sort of think, right, I'm not going to be in the office till 10 o'clock at night, or the weekends. I have weekends off and different things like that. So it is a priority and it is a driver. It's important.
There's a DNA there as well, hunter-gatherer. It's kind of in genetics. That's part of caveman lifestyle. We're digressing.
I think you're right. I think it's being a provider, being the hunter provider. And it's the same as when women have children and they become mother hen and nest. They want to create a home. And, that's what my wife's been like. She reminds me every Friday, what are you doing this weekend? You're going to fix this on the house, do this on the house. She wants to make sure that nest is exactly how she wants it. So, yeah.
I get told that we are going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And when she says, we need to do this.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's definitely, Dave, you need to do this.
Yeah, you're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. The royal we call that.
Yeah. It's a fucking joke.
Yeah, it becomes a problem when you've got Site Audit Pro app out and you're doing your own house, isn't it? And you're like, oh my God. It is a case for me, though, that designer's house gets done last. I don't know, you've obviously got your wife pushing it, but it's so hard to do your work to your own house when it's what you do for work.
Well, I've always done that. It's always been in the background, and literally conversation with what I'd call friends or acquaintances, people that you bump into or your community in my village will be like, how's the house going? It's the first thing they'll say, how's the house going? Yeah, still doing it. 9 years on, still doing it, still adding on. And it's quite funny, because it's like a busman's holiday, isn't it? Work's never finished. I think I've decorated 4 times since I've been there, and I'm still extending, building, adding things. It's never complete. And then we'll probably finish it and move and start again and have another project but then that's my passion. It's what I love doing. And I'm building most of it myself rather than using the resources. Although I will say I've had many of my guys on my house working and they're exceptional. They've done a great job. So I can't say I've built it all myself.
Some good windows in there as well, I imagine.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Yeah, they're all right. Yeah, they're good. Need a little service. Might have to bring the service department. Winter's setting. But no, it's good. It's good.
So if you see a potential project come through or, you see some planning or maybe something for your own house, what is it in construction that excites you the most?
Good question. So it is the design, is the sort of flair, the material choices. I love building anything, don't get me wrong. If somebody says, I've just got a small extension, it's very basic, block render built, that's fine. It's a build. And on that level, I sort of look at it from a point of view. I just want to deliver a service to the client that is hassle-free or as much hassle-free as possible for that client and offer that sort of project management service. But the actual thing that really gets me going in is design, is architecture, just that real sort of outside the box, the grandeur. Our aim has always been to deliver sort of more of a higher end product. And I like to work with more refined materials. It's one of those where when you compare that sort of residential higher end market, very designed property for a residential client, so quite demanding in that sense because it's their home, so it's emotion tied. When you compare that to the main contracting side, which is very project management based, very much, it's all about program, it's all about stages, they're very different. I call it building versus construction. And on the building side, I love the challenges of refining that clients' wants and ambitions and dreams into that house and trying to make it. My aim is always to be friends with the client after. So it's like you want to try and make that happen, try and stick to budget, try and manage the client expectation, but also manage the project and to deliver something that not everybody has, right? But then on the project, I love that. And then I also love the project management and main contracting I love the speed and that working with subcontractors and how to organise and program the works and sides. So 2 sort of ends of the scale really, but I enjoy them both.
You have that passion at the end of the day. So
yeah, I do.
And you always have done.
Well, I love buildings. I love construction. I love design. That's why I studied architecture. I'm not an architect. Nothing wrong with well, it depends what podcast you listen to, but no, I have a huge respect for architects. I love business, and it's architecture or design is not an easy thing to sell. It's a very personable thing. It's a challenging thing, and I really struggled to sell myself as an architect or a designer. So credit to you. It's not an easy thing, and it's a challenging market. It's huge competition. It is all about relationships, but also about your creative flair and your ideas and your output. It's a difficult thing, but I have a huge respect for it and the end product. I love that. I really appreciate what people produce, and we always give our architects credit. Always, you don't get it much back the other way. I don't know. Buildings win awards and the architect gets the trophy, but hey, that's just the industry. But we always do credit them. They're good.
It's very much a perception and taste and what you're actually drawn to and what you like. And everybody likes something different. It's why we all choose to wear what we wear and eat what we eat, because we like different things. And sometimes you really have to refine people's perceptions of what they can achieve and extend it often because they're expecting something a little more ordinary, and actually those boundaries can be pushed without too much more investment. So it's very vision is and taste is interesting.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And it always surprises us, especially the team. It's quite, I mean, like I say, I've got training and experience in it. But what I like sometimes is when we're, especially when we get to that sort of decorating and finishing stages and watching my team of builders. And they go, bloody hell, have you seen that colour on that wall? And I always say to them the same thing, is just wait. Just wait to see what happens, and good design just pulls that together. We've gone into rooms and it's just like bright yellow, and you're like, why would you want that in this room? Like, that's crazy. But then when it's done and a beautiful Georgian property and the sun's just hitting it right and it's all furnished and you're like, there you go, boys. And they're like, wow, wouldn't have thought that yellow wall and yellow carpet would have that good. And it's like, these people know what they're doing.
I had a hotel project, and it was at the start of this year, actually, and they were decorating. Then when we were doing the install and I was there and I was speaking to, it's like night porter and maintenance, lovely guy. And I said, what do you think? And he said, at first, I thought it was like baby poo brown. But then now, as we're reaching the end, I can see that you've captured the essence of the Mill End Hotel. And to me, that just stays with me, that he saw the transformation. Yeah. But he did have severe doubts about my decision.
I think that's become quite cult, isn't it? At the minute, like everyone goes grey. It's grey everywhere. And you think it's because people play it safe.
Yeah.
They're too scared to really put their personalities on their properties. They think they're going to, it loses value or loses appeal. And, fair play to those people that it's easy to go grey or white walls. I mean, I've got white walls because we've got artwork, but it's easy to play it safe, isn't it? Whereas I think what you're doing is when you're employing the services of an architect or designer, especially on interiors, it's about letting them sort of poke around in your brain a little bit and your sort of emotion to see what you really want. What that space could really be spatially and to create that feeling and emotion that you should have in a house. And when it's done well, it works. It really does. It makes you're sort of happy to go home. I couldn't live in a grey house. When I see or go to friends or family, and it's very grey, you think, how depressing. I mean, our work environment is quite bright white and grey.
Yeah.
But it's work. It's easy to clean. It's move on. I don't want my house like
that. Not when the sky's so grey so much of the year.
Exactly.
It is really depressing. And I think there's certain TV programmes and things that have led to this grey stage, but I think we're coming out the other end of it now.
Yeah.
You want to go in the office with me, Matt and John. We got joss sticks in there and everything. It's really zen. Yeah.
Jazz music.
Yeah. We all take our clothes off in the middle of the day and do a bit of meditation.
That's why your small jeans are on the wall. No, it makes a big difference. And with interiors and builds in general, we've talked about what motivates you and what you like to see. Is there anything that you think is a bit of a pet peeve or a bugbear? For me, it's apex windows in bedrooms, okay? Because they are a nightmare to dress from a curtain perspective. Like, it's just going to look hideous. Just don't. But in a hallway, fine. Anyway, what's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve, tendering is actually probably my biggest pet peeve. And we're doing a podcast about this, and Grant's going to come in, my brother. So I think the whole tendering process is flawed. I think it's terrible. I think it takes the piss. I think it's just wrong for this day and age. So effectively, people aren't aware, tender process is that the client will get a QS or someone or themselves will put out a drawing package as a minimum, hopefully a scope of works and a bill of quants. And the contractors, usually I'd say no more than 3, but nowadays it's 4, 5, 6 contractors, which takes the piss. And we all fill it out, and we'll all fill it out differently, and we'll all read it differently, and there's been no meetings, no sort of pre-tender meeting or anything like that. And it comes back, and then there's a variation of price. And typically the client won't go for the cheapest because they don't want to be seen cheap. They go for the second cheapest because they think that's going to be the best for whatever. And then I just think then it just doesn't work, and there's various reasons why it don't. And I could go on about this all day, but I think it should now be the other way around, that the client should have a QS prepare it as a cost and put it out as a cost. So if they've got a project, their QS says, could and should be done at a fair price for £100,000, and that's the cost, and the plus is whatever the contractor. So when you put it out to the tender, the only thing as contractors we fill in is our OHP, so overheads and profits, and our prelims. And now they will be different, because you get a smaller contractor to us, they'll have smaller overheads. But then we might be able to play with the prelims, and then that's up to us then to change that. And then if their client QS is prepared the scope of works and bill of quants, then we're all quoting off exactly the same thing, not just the drawings. They're not interpretive. Nothing can be missed. And if it has been missed, that QS who could then become the project manager or lead that can then pick up variations as we go through. That's how I think it should change. And there's a lot more involved in that. And I'll be doing about an hour's podcast on this, but it really does grind me because it costs contractors so much money and we just throw it away. And especially as they go out to 5, 6 contractors, each spending between, I don't know, £1,000 and £2,000-3,000, and then to not win it. And then good contractors just think, what's the point?
Yeah, waste of time, waste of money.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
And I know we've spoken to other people who feel the same, other contractors that you'll probably have on the podcast that feel the same, that it's just not right. It just feels wrong.
Yeah.
So Reba, if you're listening, change it. Change the system. It doesn't work. So yeah, that's probably my pet peeve.
So if you weren't so passionate about Prolux and Shepherd, what do you think you'll be doing? If you weren't doing your role now?
I don't know. Well, no, I do know. I think if I wasn't into business, and I always think of like what my retirement would look like, I would say I'd be an artist. I'd be a sculptor, which is very similar to building in my eyes. That's what I love. I love sculpting. I love creating. And that's to me what buildings are.
Do you do that already outside of work?
Yeah. Literally next to where I eat my dinner, I've got a bag of clay. Literally.
Okay.
Which my wife always says, can you move the bag of clay? And I'm like, no, because I make little models. It's something I don't get time to do it enough because, like I say, to me, building my house is sculpting. It's building what I want. And, I'm working with my hands and delivering an end product that I like the look of. And, I can step back and go, I like that. But no, I'd really like to do more of that. But I don't see it commercially. I'm not looking to try and earn money from that. Yeah. Just enjoy it. I just like creating, and I'm still trying to find my style and what I'm happy with. And as I guess an artist.
Bit different?
Yeah. No, I love art. I love sculpture. I love architecture. I love all the creative sort of sides of the world. And that's my thing, really. I'm visually stimulated. And I love creating things that are visually stimulating for other people. So
you should start making little sculptures, and then when you vacate a property, a project, just leave it behind somewhere.
So shall I tell you a little thing? Every single property that Shepherd has built or extended or anything like that, we hide crooks, little Shepherd's crooks. Oh. So if you've ever seen our builds, well, you're down in Penzance, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I challenge you, go to St Paul's School.
Yeah, I thought you might say this.
And find the crooks. And I think there's 4 on that building.
Is there?
Yeah.
What, you can see from the outside?
Yeah, you don't need to go inside. You can see them from the outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go and have a look. And do the clients know?
We always tell the client loves it. Yeah, we wouldn't just do it anyway, although I have done in the past.
Didn't like that client.
Yeah. We tend to sort of, so it's not in plain view. It's you have to know it's there or look for it. Or somebody goes, is that a crook in that wall? And you're like, yeah, it is. It's just a little thing, just a little reminder.
Yeah, that's cool.
And what's great is that I don't enforce that. It's not me going, oh, can you do it? The team do it. The mason will be like, oh, nobody's done a crook yet. Can I put one in the wall? And I'm like, let me check with the client. And they'll put one in somewhere, a little hiding. Yeah. So they like doing it. They like putting it, it's their little stamp. So
I just imagine it's like a little cock drawn in the render or something.
It's not a cock, it's a crook.
Oh, okay.
He wants to live with the tone, doesn't he?
But that's it. It actually stemmed from, but when everybody wants to leave their signature. Every bloody builder wants to sign their work or leave something. And I was getting fed up with it. And I said, listen, if we're going to do it, we do it as a company and we'll leave something behind. And it just evolved into that we would put the crook everywhere.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's really
people
cool.
Still do it, sign their own work and be on a kitchen. Ian was here, 2025, which is nice. That's something else I enjoy. When you pull back layers of a building, you see other builders that were there 100 years ago. That's cool. Love that. That's really good. Or leave little time capsules in bottles or old fag packets filled with little notes and stuff. We found so many crazy things.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
I used to love it when I was on site. You never knew what you were going to find. Doing a renovation, it was just mental.
Yeah, it's good.
Loved it.
In our house, when we were doing our extension and reconfiguration, there's a lintel above a window. And this house was architecturally designed, built, then we bought it. So, 50 years later. So it hasn't really had anything done. It had black carpet and black tiles in the bathroom. It was still very much in the 60s when we moved in. And when we took back the plaster over the window, it said bent like a banana. And I was like, hang on a minute. They change it then. When it was done. This hasn't been changed in the time.
No, they just kept it.
Just kept it.
Ain't
Yeah.
one of yours, is it, mate?
Yeah, it probably is. Probably one of the early ones. Yeah, no, I love it. I love the in the Prolux workshops, because they're old. They're probably about 80 years old, and people have sort of got up onto the crane with the gantry and signed it. I think it's something like Roland Rat was here or something. I just like it. It tells the story of the personalities are there, and we've had something similar where people have builders have left notes about the client or something, and they said don't work for this person, and you're like, well, they don't work here, don't live here anymore, so it's all right.
Yeah,
But
it's too late. We're in now.
too late. We're here. Yeah. And we might have left a few notes as well.
Yeah. Got to be done with it.
Yeah. The hidden stopcock the client doesn't know about. No, I'm joking.
You'll be giving people ideas.
Well, it's a good way to get paid, I was told once upon a time. If they can't find out to turn the water on, they're going to need you, aren't they?
So going back to your creativity, mate.
Yeah.
It was something that appealed to me coming over and working with you. I saw your creative mindset and forward thinking and more modern thinking about building a business. Having said that, I've seen some viral videos on social media on building sites. If one of the lads went viral on social media for something, what do you hope it wouldn't be?
What would I hope it wouldn't be? Well, anything that was a crime, I think. Yeah. I mean, I try and sort of educate the team in the value of media, and that we don't want to be the clowns that people are laughing at. We want to come across professional. And I have quite a strict sort of, I wouldn't say rules, but I have quite a strict way. And we all do in construction. You need it anyway because of health and safety. You're quite strict anyway. But I like to be above that a little bit, and make sure that our values as a company, our sort of presence in the community and the wider community are good and seen as being polite and sort of community focused. And that is, like I say, it's international now, isn't it? So, yeah, I want to make sure that we're perceived to be the people we are, and not clowns and not idiots. And that's so easy in construction to do because it's, that is sort of the nature of the industry is that people do have a laugh while they work. It's hard graft. It's 40 hours minimum a week of graft. We'll say to people, imagine being in the gym for 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
That's construction. That's what these guys go through. So to have a bit of shits and giggles while they're doing it, do you blame them? It's
got to be done.
It's got to be
done. Got to have a laugh. Got to enjoy going to work.
So I mean, I make sure the guys are aware of the rules that we need to abide by, and that they've got very good. The team we've got understand that there are cameras on them, and that we're present with cameras and we walk around, and so they know what to do and what not to do. I mean, back in the day, but early days of social media, well, more camera phones and things, I was really hot on it. I mean, I had the nickname on site as Mussolini because I was like, you are not to get your phones out. Don't want to see your phones, even at break time. If you're pointing at each other, I'm going to lose my shit. I don't want you to be filming each other on site. You want to do that, you do it on a Friday night, Saturday night out when you're, having a laugh with each other. But
yeah.
I'm a bit more relaxed now because I think the team we have understands social media can make or break you. Well, certainly can break you. People get it wrong. People make mistakes, and if it's filmed, that small mistake can be huge.
Yeah, 100%.
But and I think that's in a better place now because you don't want to overthink it because then you restrict yourself too much. And I always have people pointing out, oh yeah, you're doing this, or where's his Arda, or where's that, or where's the high vis, or oh that's shit. And you're like, you're going to get comments like that. You're going to get things. But then there's also other times, again, when we're saying about being proud of something, is that I'll review some of the videos we'll do on site. They may not go on socials, but I'll review them and go, do you know what? It was just so respectful. I don't mind people having music on a good volume, and if they saw me walking around talking to the camera, they just pulled it down without, turned the volume down without me even having to say anything. And that's like being aware, and it works for me.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. I suppose it's easier for you to hear them as well, calling you a wanker across the site if they turn the music down.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was here again. That idiot. Yeah, which I'm sure it does. No, yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah. Anything negative you wouldn't want somebody to be called out for online. Well, I wouldn't want them to do it first and foremost.
Yeah.
I would want them to conduct themselves as a good, respectful person.
And to be fair, I think everyone does, whether it's Prolux or Shepherd. I think everyone here really does.
Yeah, they do. I don't can't even remember the last time I've had to discipline someone for wrongdoing. Don't get me wrong, I've had to say that wasn't quite to the book of how to do something, but it can get silly. What it's like in trade to have a face fit mask. I mean, you can't have a beautiful beard like me and you, Dave.
Exactly.
You have to be clean shaven.
What about Charlotte?
That should be fine. She can wear any mask she wants. Not that you need to.
Thanks for the clarification.
And the guys with beards will wear a mask, and then if HSC come along, they'll be going, well, is that face fit? Well, of course it's not. He's got a beard. It was maybe 3 years ago. But so it's like, there's a little bit of swings and roundabouts, and some of the shit I see online anyway. I think that's
mad.
Minimum,
We're doing minimal sort of fault, whereas others are doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I'm always surprised how many women I see on social media, on videos, sites in heels. And it just blows my brain. Because I think, I've probably said this on the podcast before, but it just makes us look stupid.
Yeah.
It makes us look stupid. It's like the guys that rock up in the shorts, you're like, go home, you can't work in your shorts, but heels, I think that's even worse.
I think you're right. I think I've got a friend of mine, Michaela Wayne. It represents women in construction. She's very good, but I think she does it very well in terms of representing women in construction and sort of looking at that side. I'm a huge advocate for it, and we would welcome and open the doors more. It'd be great to see more women on the tools and in the trades. But I feel the same sometimes when I see those videos, and I just think, even if you're a client, and it winds me up that there's such a small thing, but the pink high vis.
But yeah.
I don't mind it. If it's like your whole company brand, you're all pink, then I get it.
Yeah.
But like, you see a woman, it sounds bad, but you see a woman come along and just be, oh yeah, I wear the pink stuff because I'm female on the site. It's like, yeah, we've not singled you out. You've just done that yourself.
Yeah.
We'd rather you just wore the same high vis as everyone, so you feel like part of the team. But now you've just singled yourself out as something different, and that just feels awkward to everyone on site.
Yeah, it does.
Do it once. Like, don't get me wrong. Guys have come on sites with something funny on the back of their high vis. For a day, that's fine. Now throw it in the bin or get rid of it and put your actual high vis on the next day. It's fine one day.
First day high vis.
Yeah.
Well, we have first day clothing. So on the Shepherd side, day one, they have a nice kit. And then day two, that goes back in the box and they put their old kit on. So day one, they always look fresh, always look nice.
Yeah.
It's just the thing we've always done. So it's
nice.
bum, isn't it? But yeah, they're allowed to wear their nice jackets for that one day and then
Keep them
never
clean.
again until they start another job. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like standing out on site as well, so I might get a pink high vis and maybe even don a pair of heels.
Yeah, why not?
There's no place for it. There really is no place for it. And I've met Michaela, actually. She did a great talk at a Women in Construction Property conference event. I can't remember exactly the time. It was in the summer over at Red Roof. It was really good.
Oh, she's brilliant.
We had a chat at the end and she said, I reminded her of Stacey Dooley.
Yeah, a little bit. I can see where she's coming from. Yeah,
no one's ever said that before. But yeah, it's nice to meet her.
Yeah, no, she's a good girl. Lady, should I say. Don't want to patronise. But no, she's, flying that flag and doing a really good job. So, yeah, we want to see more women in construction.
100%.
At all levels, and not just the admin roles, young women need to know that they can be on the tools. And it's not a patriarchy. It's most sites nowadays are very open to everything, to all. It's not a man's world. It isn't. And I'm sure it can feel like that. And don't get me wrong, the ground workers and the scaffolders and roofers, wherever the air's thin, those guys are going to react to like absolute buffoons because the air's thin. But they don't mean it. It's jokes and it's a little bit of banter, which you're going to get, I think, in every job. I mean, look at you, full of the banter, isn't you?
Yeah, exactly. Love it. Yeah, too right.
But yeah, no, I think construction is a very welcoming industry for all people.
So
It's
women,
nice to
get out of the kitchen and get on the trowel.
Goodness sake. Visuals. I'm clenching my fist.
A very slappable head, isn't it? Very slappable head.
I've not done that yet. Maybe.
No, not yet. So you got loads of stories, mate, from what you've done. We could speak all day, couldn't we? But let's say that they were going to write a film about you. Who would play you in the film and what would the title be?
Who would play me in a film? I think the title would be something like, I don't know, the grass is never greener or the grass is greener, something like that, along those lines. My work ethic comes from my dad, working with my dad in grounds maintenance. And something that I've always loved is nature and being in the, and being at one with it, you know, and building up just a natural, through my working with my dad, building up that natural understanding of the natural world, flora, fauna. And it's sort of just given me a really good grounding. And when you're cutting miles of grass with a lawnmower every day throughout your summer holidays and Saturdays, weekends and everything, you learn to think a lot. You learn to plan life a lot, even from a young age. And there's always been that reference to me in my mind of that we naturally compare to others, don't we, as we've grown up, and, you know, they've got all this and all the looks and all this, and everyone seems to have it easier and a bit luckier than I am. And, you know, people say the grass isn't greener. And I don't know, something around that.
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know, probably now, if somebody's playing me now, it'd be someone like, I don't know, who played Thanos? Was that Josh Brolin?
Oh, no, who was it? Thanos.
I have no idea what that is. I was thinking of Charlie
Oh, yeah. No,
That
it was
him.
Josh Brolin, wasn't it?
Was it? He played Thanos. You know all that stuff, didn't you? Marvel stuff, I don't know.
Well, a little bit.
But he's a bit older than me, so maybe he can play me in the future a little bit. I don't know. I don't know who could play me. What's that comedian? He's not an actor.
Greg Davis.
Greg Davis.
Rob Beckett.
Rob Beckett. Everyone says I look like Rob Beckett.
Yeah, do you know what?
So Rob Beckett could play me, maybe.
Yeah. No, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Can't unsee that.
Yeah, people say it. We've got big teeth and good hair and similar glasses. So yeah, I don't know. Someone like that. And we got a similar accent, I suppose. But
Very true to the shepherd name there, with the cutting the grass, being outside, nature.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, it was. It was quite strange. Like I said, I've always wanted to business, and I always wanted to. I always hoped to sort of build my dad's business for him, or with him, and then, you know. But life throws curveballs and changed directions, and ended up down here. But yeah, no, I've probably. Yeah, it's quite a big story. It's nice to look back. There's a lot going on, and it's been a big journey. But maybe I'll do a like a podcast or a recording of my tales, my memoirs.
Yeah, from the shepherd.
I think people would like that.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Definitely. I wouldn't say I've not had an adventurous life. I haven't seen the world. That's something I still is on my list of things to do, is to see more of the world. I haven't done the traveling. I very much stayed on a driven line to do what I needed to do to get where I am. But I've had a good life. I've enjoyed it. I've got good people around me, lovely family. Yeah, I mean, it's been a good time. Roller coaster. Yeah, it's good.
I feel like it's not the appropriate time to ask what's the worst that could happen.
What in life?
Just it's one of our ending sort of questions, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know, because there were times when I thought if it was all taken away, that would be the worst thing in the world. But in this roller coaster of life, I've hit some low times, and you come out the back of that and think, I don't think it would be the worst thing ever. I think maybe just something a bit more, but something like illness, or something where I wasn't in control of my thoughts, or something like that. I don't know, something where I maybe even, you know, losing my senses, or so. You know, we're so fortunate that we have all our abilities. We have our senses, our sight, our hearing, and you know, I think we don't take it for advantage, because that's life, right? But when you lose those, when people lose those, or like my granddad, bless him, yeah, he's still around. He's 93. Both my granddads and my nan, but 93 years old, and you know, he's engineer from Rolls Royce, very incredible man, very skilled guy, but his poor old hands, you know, he can barely pick up a knife and fork, or a cup of tea now, and that's a hard thing to see, and you think that's a hard thing to sort of grasp, you know, forgive the pun, but to grasp that will happen, you know, that you get old and you lose certain abilities, and you know, he can't himself cut into a nice bit of steak. What a small little thing, but he can't do it.
Yeah.
So then while he's on his own, it limits things, and I look at that and just think, that's what I don't want to do. I want to enjoy life now. At least I can look back, and that's what he always says to me. I've had a good life. But yeah, don't say that. It makes you feel like you're going to go tomorrow. I won't see you again. But what he means is, I've just had a good life. I've enjoyed it. I've had a great life, and that's what it's about. But you got to enjoy it. You got to be happy. Like, I wouldn't be doing all this unless I was happy. Tomorrow I woke up and I thought, I don't want all this. I want to change direction. Then I'd set the wheel in motion and I'd make that happen. But I think I've always been someone who's in control of my own destiny, in control of my future and my path. And I'm not all, you know, that's not like some mantra. Yeah, woo-woo, that's it. Yeah. It's just how I think of life. And I think everybody should move forward with their life in the direction that makes them happy. And if that means changing your career, changing your direction. We had one of our team, we won't name them, but, was talking about taking a bit of a step up in our company into a new role, and was given an opportunity, given the weekend to think about it and come back. And they actually came back and went, oh, do you know what? I actually want to go and travel the world. I actually want to go and see some of the world and do some things with my life. And I'm like, wow. I mean, gutted that you're leaving. But wow, what a great thing. What a great thing for you to do. And yes, go and do it. Go and do it. Go and spend time with your family and do great things, because, yeah, we only get one life, in my mind.
Exactly right.
We get one life on this earth. So go and have a good time. Go and enjoy. Go and experience it. And yeah, that's what it's about. So
awesome. That's a good note to end on. Thanks for coming upstairs today.
2 flights as well, mate. I took 2 flights to get in. Yeah.
Travelled far and wide.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure, guys. And yeah, you got a great podcast.
Yeah.
Well
and
done.
so have you.
So
yeah, plug your podcast. And
yeah, what is it? Property Developers Playbook. I think that's right.
Bloody no.
I just turn up. All right, I turn up and talk. Jonathan's the lead on it. No, yeah. Property Developers Playbook. Effectively, it's an education we talk about property development and how people from different backgrounds can get into it. Jonathan from sort of accountancy, office worker, and myself from tradie, getting into property development, and how that can, again, change your life if that's the direction you want, if you want to change, if you want to develop your career, we want to help people do that. So the podcast is a starting point. If people are interested, then we've also got a 3-day course there's one in January, the end of January. We have a school community, and we've also got a few other bits where a few other courses and that people can download and have a look at. So yeah, just trying to educate, trying to help people out. I'm a firm believer in that. We're going above and beyond. If you see a path, just because you're out of the ages of 18 to 21 university years, it doesn't stop there. Your education needs to continue. And I think as you're older, some of these sort of weekend or evening courses and things, just to try and see if there's a different career path for you. So we're offering that in development. If people want to get into development, learn how to be a property developer, a proper property developer, not about quick flips and triple R's and all this. Nothing wrong with that, but you're not property developers. You want to learn how to build buildings and convert buildings into residential dwellings, and then give us a holler.
Yeah. Decent.
Nice. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, right. Nice one. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll speak to you on the next pod.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?